The story begins with a brave young woman preparing to climb down from a 1,000-meter high tower, but the moment she steps onto the fire ladder, she suddenly slips. Thankfully, her friend reacts instantly and grabs the safety rope, somehow stopping her from falling. Just a few seconds later, the ladder crashes all the way down to the ground. Seeing this fills the girl with overwhelming fear. With the help of her trusted friend, she gathers all her strength and slowly climbs back up. After a difficult struggle, she finally makes it to safety. Both girls laugh loudly and congratulate each other. But when they look down, they realize something horrifying. The ladder they were using has already fallen to the ground. Now there is absolutely no way for them to climb back down. At that moment, they feel as if death would be easier, regretting ever coming to such a terrifying place. The girl's name is Becky, an amateur climber. But 1 year earlier, during a mountain climb, she witnessed her husband falling to his death right in front of her eyes. That tragedy completely broke her, and she cut herself off from the world. A few days ago, however, her best friend suddenly visited her and revealed that she had become a full-time streamer. To attract viewers, her friend planned to climb America's 4th tallest abandoned TV tower. Becky wanted to refuse, but her friend convinced her that this dangerous adventure could help her move on from her grief. Eventually, Becky agreed. The two girls drive to a nearby bar close to the TV tower. Local people warn them that the tower is badly damaged and scheduled to be demolished soon, but the girls ignore the warnings. Early the next morning, they head toward the tower by car. When they arrive, they see a no-entry sign blocking the area, so they continue on foot through the deserted land. Standing beneath the tower, they finally realize how massive and terrifying it truly is. Becky's fear returns immediately, but her friend is extremely excited. She clips their safety locks together and starts climbing the rusty iron ladder. Becky takes a deep breath and begins climbing as well. The old ladder shakes violently with every step, as if it could collapse at any moment. Becky's breathing becomes heavier, and she can barely look down. Eventually, they reach the upper platform of the tower. From there, only a thin iron pole with antennas remains above them. Strong winds roar around them non-stop. Becky closes her eyes, takes another deep breath, and continues climbing carefully past the signal receivers. Finally, both girls reach the very top of the tower. Looking at the breathtaking mountains surrounding them, they scream with excitement. Both of them feel an overwhelming sense of achievement. Becky's friend quickly pulls out her phone and starts taking photos and videos in different poses. She even bought a brand new drone, especially for this trip, believing the footage would go viral online. Meanwhile, Becky takes out her husband's ashes and gently releases them into the wind, symbolically saying goodbye to her painful past. But just as they prepare to climb back down, disaster strikes. The old ladder suddenly snaps and crashes to the ground. Although neither of them is injured, their only way down is now gone. Panicking, they try to call for help, but there is no phone signal at all. Becky notices an emergency contact box nearby, giving them a small sense of hope. But then she realizes another terrible problem. Their backpack filled with food and water is hanging far below on a signal receiver. Her fear grows even stronger, but her friend remains optimistic. She believes someone nearby may have heard the ladder crashing down. Hours pass, but no one appears. Becky's friend checks her phone again and suddenly notices that the video they uploaded earlier has received a like. That means the phone might catch a signal if lowered slightly farther down. The girls quickly type a message asking for help and tie the phone to a rope. They slowly lower the phone downward, hoping the message will send automatically. Unfortunately, the rope is too short. Then Becky comes up with a desperate idea. They place the phone inside a shoe and throw it downward, hoping it survives the impact. Using binoculars, Becky's friend suddenly notices someone moving near the base of the tower. The girls scream loudly for help, but the distance is too great. Becky throws down another shoe, finally attracting the man's attention. The girls become excited, believing they are saved, but the man never notices them standing high above. Becky's friend decides they should wait until nightfall and use a signal flare instead. After sunset, Becky fires the signal flare. This time the man finally notices them at the top of the tower. The girls celebrate with joy, believing rescue has arrived. But moments later, the man smashes their car window, steals the vehicle, and drives away. Watching their only chance disappear destroys all of their hope. Under the blinking tower light, the girls spend the entire night clinging to each other in fear. When morning comes, both their bodies and minds are completely exhausted. Becky sadly wishes they still had the drone. Looking down at the backpack hanging below, has enough strength. Her friend decides to climb, down using the safety rope while she's still. They tie one end of the rope tightly to a metal bar, and her friend carefully begins descending, but the rope turns out to be too short. Eventually, she has no choice but to unclip her safety lock and jump the remaining distance. She lands painfully on the signal receiver but survives. After catching her breath, she retrieves the backpack. However, climbing back up becomes another major challenge. She ties the backpack securely and begins trying to return. Just as she is about to reach the top, her hands suddenly slip and she falls. Becky is horrified, convinced her friend is dead, but when she finally looks down, she realizes her friend somehow survived because the hanging backpack cushioned the fall. Together, they finally manage to pull her back to the top. Becky immediately drinks the mineral water desperately. Then she writes a help message on paper and attaches it to the drone. They fly the drone toward a nearby diner, but suddenly, they notice the drone's battery is almost dead. They decide to bring it back and recharge it first. That night, Becky gets an idea after seeing the tower's warning light glowing again. The next morning, she climbs to the very top of the antenna, removes the light cover, and plugs the charger into the electric socket dangerously. Hanging high above the ground, a vulture swoops toward her. Becky manages to recharge the drone little by little. Suddenly, startled, she loses control and the backpack falls again. Once the drone is fully charged, Becky launches it toward the diner with renewed hope. But once again, fate crushes her hopes. A truck driver notices the drone briefly but simply ignores it and drives away. Now Becky is completely hopeless. Dark storm clouds gather in the sky, and a violent storm begins moving toward the tower. Her friend tries to encourage her to survive. Becky suggests trying the phone trick again using their shoes, but then her friend reminds her that the shoes were already thrown away. Suddenly, Becky realizes the horrifying truth. Her friend actually died during the earlier fall. Everything afterward was only Becky hallucinating because of fear, trauma, and loneliness. Realizing the truth, Becky breaks down, crying uncontrollably as the storm grows stronger around her. Eventually, Becky loses consciousness. After the storm ends, a vulture lands beside her and begins pecking at her wounds, but suddenly Becky grabs the bird by the neck. She had only been pretending to be unconscious so she could catch it and eat its meat to survive. After regaining strength, Becky ties the safety rope to the metal bar and starts climbing, downward alone. When she reaches the rope's limit, she unclips herself and makes one huge jump onto the lower platform. There she finds her friend's dead body surrounded by vultures. Becky scares the birds away and takes out the phone once again. She places the phone inside her friend's shoe and writes one final, desperate message asking for help. Then, Becky does something horrifying. She pushes her friend's corpse off the tower so the body can cushion the phone from breaking during the fall. This time, the message finally sends successfully. That night, Becky's father and the rescue team arrive at the tower. After nearly 60 hours of terrifying struggle, Becky is finally rescued alive. And with that, the film fall comes to an end.